Hi everyone, thanks for joining us at In the Know. We're catching up with some of your favorite celebs, reality TV stars, and more direct from their homes. I'm your host, Gibson Johns, and today we're joined by Kyle Cooke and Amanda Batula from Summer House. Together, we looked back at the wild fourth season of the Bravo hit, which started rough for the couple, but ended on a more positive note for their relationship. We got into where their wedding plans stand as the quarantine continues, Amanda's friendship drama with Paige, Hannah, and Lindsay, Kyle and Carl's bumpy road this summer, and who the couple would want to see back for a potential season 5. Keep listening for my full interview with Kyle and Amanda. Kyle Cooke and Amanda Batula, how are you guys?
Hey.
Good.
Doing well. No complaints.
Thanks for calling in. What have you guys been doing during the quarantine? How have you been spending your time?
Well, we are still in Manhattan, playing it safe, locked down, and probably working, 12-hour days.
Oh my God, it's been crazy. Yeah, we've been up late every night working.
Yeah.
Working more so now that no one else is in the apartment than we were when we had people coming over.
Giving her a true taste of the startup work week.
So Loverboy's doing better than ever. Can we say that?
Yeah. We actually sold completely out.
Wow.
So we are completely bone dry in 3 different states right now. We still have our new spritz cocktail for sale online.
Yeah, which is totally something that you could serve at your wedding later this year. I've seen a lot of coverage of weddings during quarantine and how this time has affected people's plans. Where do your plans stand for your wedding? And have you had to change anything up in reaction to what's going on?
Yeah. So it's right now the wedding is scheduled for September 18th, but it's still uncertain as to when the world will actually open up again and things will start getting somewhat back to normal. So it's weird to try to plan for a wedding that you're not sure is actually going to take place on that date. But at the same time, we're trying to stay optimistic and move forward in case, things do work out. But it's just bizarre.
Yeah, there's also certain things that we needed to do that we can't do at the moment. Amanda needs to finish the dress shop.
Yeah, well, the issue is even though I had 4 dresses that I liked and I was just ready to pick one and go for it, the shop that I was buying it at were we don't know what dresses that we can get shipped and expedited yet
and get made and things like that, right?
And start opening. So even though it's all right, well, I technically can make a decision, but they're not willing to be they're not willing to let me buy anything yet.
Wow. So are you guys erring on the side of we still want to have it, but maybe it would be smaller or less over the top? What's the sort of mindset when it comes to that?
I would prefer to push it back. I feel we're only we're going to be able to have a wedding
right
time together, and even if we get married legally before that and still do this big Kyle loves to throw good parties, so
we know that.
Right.
Yeah, I think that the challenge here, I know this is a long answer, but we don't know what the new normal is going to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, our venue is big. Its capacity is 500. We were looking to have 225. But it was so bizarre. We literally sent out the save the dates at a time where everyone had particularly in New York, just pieced out. You're in DC.
Yeah.
And so
we
our
had to,
save the dates, we had to change the dresses.
Quarantine addresses for everyone.
Extra outreach, yeah. I think something that a lot of people would be wondering from the show is who's invited from the Summer House cast. Is everyone invited?
Everyone that has been on more than one season is definitely invited thus far. Again, we are trying to slim down our list as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
We meet so many people all the time, but we want the people at our wedding to be people that have been in our lives for a decent amount of time, and we truly feel will continue to be in our lives. And every single person that comes is going to be very expensive, so we can't just invite everyone we've ever met.
I've had, as you maybe,
I'm already mad at Kyle's the size of his guest list, and those are people that
I've had to literally not. My guest list got trimmed down by 75%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amanda, that you're being tough there.
I know. But I'm like, bro, when's the last time you talked to this guy? We had a really good time at this one party 5 years ago.
No.
But at the end of the day, though, it's like it's your guys' decision and the people who you really want there, and nobody can really judge that decision, in my opinion.
Right.
Exactly. Unless you want to pay your own way.
Yeah, we should have a pay your own way option.
I mean, in these times, that might be helpful. So, okay, so let's get into Summer House a little bit. This past season, I can't believe we're through 4 seasons already, it's wild. I know, Amanda, you officially joined in season 2, but we saw you in the first season.
Yes.
Where does this one rank for you guys in the 4 seasons of Summer House?
Best season.
Yeah,
I agree.
Just watching it, like as a viewer myself, I would say it's the best.
There was just so much going on. I mean,
yeah,
there were times where in the first, particularly season 2 and season 3, our relationship was under the microscope. Partly because it was just like that's what people were focused on. There wasn't like other relationships in the house, and so I think that the downside to this season for us is just like the first half of it. We were in this weird place because of all that we had on our plate, and it almost looked like we weren't having fun. But the second half of season 4, as you're seeing play out, I mean, Amanda and I are just having a blast. And for the first time, I'd say in my reality TV, dare I say career,
I think we can go there.
I was like sitting back and I was like, I am not in the drama and I am loving it.
I was going to say, I think that part of that is because, when we highlight the downside of your relationship too often, it doesn't leave as much room for fun. And I think that you guys clearly got to a good place midway through the summer, and it opened it up. And I think that was really nice for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Because we are capable of having fun.
100%. Summer should be fun, to quote Kyle Cooke.
Exactly. But if we weren't, we wouldn't be together. So.
Yeah. What was the hardest moment, though, for you guys this season? Obviously, it was towards the beginning, but what would you kind of pinpoint as your toughest obstacle this year?
For me, it was trying to vocalize why I wanted her to quit her job so badly. A lot of people are like, that's the dumbest advice or recommendation Kyle can make. Like, hey, let's make our relationship even more tense and difficult by working together. But the source of not all, but 90% of our stress and disagreements were actually, on the Loverboy side, where I wasn't getting the help that I needed. And it's because she just legit did not have enough hours in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't have the capacity.
As a viewer might watch, they'd be like, what is Kyle thinking? But having, long before the summer, we were dealing with this situation where she had her full-time job and she wants to come home and unplug and go figure, watch Bravo. Like a lot of
relatable moment right there.
Right? It's like, I think that actually was like the best fourth wall. I don't even know if you call this a fourth wall, but one of the apartment scenes, she's on the couch literally watching a Housewives show.
One of the reunions.
Yeah, no, I think people felt like they were seeing through to their own souls. Like, it was like
people were like, I've never related to someone more. I'm like, I'm literally a normal human. I love to watch Bravo.
And I'm like, really? You really need to watch that now?
But so you guys do feel like you got to a point with this show, because last season I think was even tougher for you guys. It was it was a season long struggle for everyone. Do you guys feel like you've gotten to a place kind of with your relationship and how it relates to the show where you can kind of handle both together? Because I feel like that was also probably part of the struggle, which was just like these summers, you guys have such hectic schedules because you're leaving every single weekend, and that probably compounded too. So do you feel like you've gotten to a good place all in all?
Since we're in it together, we're able to kind of respect each other and just be like, wow, that was a rough weekend. Let's
in the past,
collect ourselves.
Right.
In the past, we would go our separate ways on Sunday, whether we were in a good place or bad. And sometimes I wouldn't see her the whole week because I'm like heads down focused. So is she. So I felt like just the fact that we were living together and engaged and focused on our future, it it was just a different headspace. And yeah, we spent the good part of the first half trying to come to some terms,
Mm-hmm.
but it's made us stronger, and then we had a blast the second half of the summer.
Yeah. And we talked at the end of last season too, so I like that this is kind of we're doing this again to round the season out. But I remember we talked a lot about sort of something that comes along with opening up your relationship on a show like this is just one, there are misconceptions about just how it's portrayed, and two, it opens it up for people to air their own criticisms of you and give you, advice or criticism. How are you guys dealing with that? What are kind of the biggest misconceptions about your relationship that people might have?
I think the judgment and criticism that some viewers have, I feel like often is directed towards the wrong person. And in this case, Amanda, like, I'm the one who cheated. I'm the one who put her through hell. And meanwhile, 9 out of 10 times, I kind of get off the hook, I guess, because I'm a goofball. And she gets the pushback, and sometimes the hate. And I think the biggest misconception is that, like, our relationship is just full of drama, and it's full of super highs and super lows, and we're just normal people.
I also think one of the biggest misconceptions is that, like, Kyle has cheated on me multiple times. I love reading the comments where people like, he's cheated on you at least 4 times that we know of. And I'm like, what 4 times are these that you know of that I don't even know of?
Right.
And well, the season 1, I mean, Kyle like kissed 3 people on camera. Like we weren't together. I wouldn't, if we don't consider what Luke did is wrong, what Kyle did wasn't wrong either. So Kyle didn't cheat on me then.
Mm-hmm.
There was one moment, the other one was the rumor, but it was one time, and we worked through it, and we, spent like a year working through it. And the other biggest misconception that is very apparent now this season is that people think Kyle and I started our relationship as a booty call. We were together for like 9 months without a title on it.
Before season 1.
Right.
Season 1. And then that first season, like, I was going over there at night because I couldn't go during the day because they were filming. So, like, if that makes me a booty call by definition, then fine.
Yeah. There's like a lot of comparisons going on between like Luke and Hannah and like us season 1, which is comical, but it is what it is.
And I think that also just gets into the, the idea of like, this show is just a summer show. So you guys have lives the other 9 months of the year, contrary to popular belief, I guess. I don't know.
We only exist for 2 months out of the whole year.
Right. Amanda, this season also brought for you a kind of new drama to experience on the show, which was friend drama. You, Paige, and Hannah got really close. And then we saw recently, which there was issues with Hannah and Luke, and then Lindsay was kind of driving a wedge between you guys that you guys thought. Talk to me in your words just about what was your real issue with Hannah and Luke's dynamic, and how Lindsay sort of played into that as well.
Yeah, so I guess, I mean, I think the way that Lindsay played into it is that she wasn't, like, Hannah wasn't going to her and telling her, like, venting to her about Luke. So Lindsay's just like seeing this as an outsider, just as all the viewers are. So she's like, I don't get what the problem is. So, I understand like where Lindsay was coming from. She didn't have the full picture, and she was just trying to be supportive based off the information she had. But meanwhile, like, Hannah was coming to Paige and I and like venting and saying things. And, even if she was maybe like over exaggerating, I was taking it seriously. Like, her concerns, when she would like, say, make accusations about Luke as a person or whatever it was, it kind of built up like a frustration inside of me. I saw Luke treat other women on our cast poorly as well in the beginning of the season, and it just kind of like spiraled. And when she told us that she didn't care about him and didn't like him, and she like just wanted to have sex, I was like, great, I'm gonna like tell this guy how it is, and like he can't treat women this way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Hannah was trying to like come off as stronger to Paige and I, being like, this guy doesn't matter, when really there was something deeper there. And I wish she had just told us that, because I absolutely 100% would have backed off if I realized like she really did have some sort of feelings for this guy.
Totally. Well, I think, I think it was nice for people to see that, there was sort of like this different kind of drama for you. I think that was a nice thing for you to have. I know that it got emotional and tough to watch, but I'm curious if was it a different experience for you in that way this summer because of that?
It was, I'm not one to ever get in fights with my friends, and I honestly feel that and I think it aired last night's episode. I sat down with Hannah too, and I told her when we were out by the pool, I really just wanted to have a conversation. Like, I didn't want it to be a fight, and I feel like she was hot and we were hot, and it kind of just erupted. But I don't like fighting with anyone, like on camera, off camera, whenever it is, and it was difficult to go through, but I feel like it's made us closer.
Totally.
I love Hannah. It's now we've gone through like this big hurdle in our lives, and we can get through more in the future.
Yeah. When I interviewed Paige earlier this season, we talked about like that's kind of like a rite of passage for a close relationship, is to have that first fight in a friendship. So I think it's honestly like it needed to happen at some point. So
we couldn't all be like happy and like
exactly
time.
Yeah. Kyle, for you and Carl are longtime friends. You brought him into Loverboy when he was sort of a little bit lost professionally, and it looked like it was a good fit at first, and now we're sort of seeing some struggles with that relationship. Is there any resolve there with Carl's involvement in Loverboy, and how did that kind of affect your friendship?
Yeah, I mean, look, similar to Amanda, Carl was going through a lot last summer too. Different kinds of stuff. And it comes out in different ways. One of the reasons why I asked Carl to get involved with Loverboy, first he invested, then he joined to help lead sales. And it's because of his passion, his drive, and commitment. I mean, pre-Summer House, the guy was crushing sales. He wasn't out in the Hamptons buying 6-liter bottles of rosé on a teacher's salary. So, it was tough for me because I knew he was kind of self-medicating. Like he says in his interview, hitting the bottle. It was a little frightening because I'd never really seen, a friend show up on a work day, and I can't tell if he's slept. I can't tell, did he just have did he have a drink?
Right. It's concerning.
But he kind of had a wake up call this, the last weekend in the house, and you'll see in the final episode, him and I have a great little heart to heart because, he has so much potential, and all he has to do is apply himself and not let the other parts of his life bring him down.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some stuff that he's working through, and some of it, is super personal, like family stuff. And so I want to be there for him. And yeah, it got a little complicated as a friend working with him, but he's doing better than ever. He's kind of used this quarantine as a time to just literally go completely dry. I don't know if it's him saying, "Hey, I'm sober indefinitely," but
why not test himself and try it out?
Yeah, it's a period of reflection. I mean, there's no better reason to.
Yeah, and similar to me, it's not like I honestly don't think the guy has a drinking problem. I think that I tend to lose track and can't moderate.
Well, you have a social problem.
I have a social problem.
Right. Yeah. But Kyle, just if he sees a party happening, he's going to be a part of it.
Yeah, and Carl, we have similar DNA. Like it's kind of like pedal to the metal type situation, and in New York, it's very easy to kind of get lost in the sauce just because. Oh man, I don't want to sit by myself on a Sunday in my little one bedroom. I'm going to go join friends for like the 4th day in a row.
You're constantly fighting against FOMO in New York, and that's just the reality of it. Yeah. So I do know that you guys filmed a reunion with Watch What Happens Live. It's going to air right after the finale. I was really sad you guys didn't get one last season because I would have loved to see that. But what did you guys go into the reunion wanting to get answers on or wanted to bring up?
Honestly, I was curious as to like where Hannah and Luke are now. I feel like without giving anything away, I'm still not completely sure. I feel like it's been kind of like the same. No one really knows you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big.
I also, it's kind of like Luke gets the first season hall pass. You always get a pretty decent edit, and producers don't give you a hard time when you botch conversations by saying, I don't want to talk about that. I hope by now he understands where some of my frustrations come from, because I'm not sitting here trying to spend my Sunday afternoon asking, talking to a wall, which is
Mm-hmm.
how it felt sometimes.
Got it.
It's kind of like, it's always like, I think it's powerful to watch it play back. And so I was just kind of curious to see what, the afterthoughts were, from some of the newbies.
Yeah, it was an interesting reunion. It was a weird way of doing it because it was virtual, and it's the first time that like we actually could not speak over each other, because if you could, there's no way of like controlling anyone.
Right.
We had to like be polite and wait for the person to finish. It was actually a very like, I think, pretty mature.
Good.
Maybe a blessing.
I'm proud of you guys.
I wouldn't say it was not dramatic. I think there's a little bit of drama in there, but like no one is screaming on top of each other, except maybe I did at one point.
But I mean, it's like that's a long way from that dark season 2 reunion that we all would like to forget.
I think that's why they didn't do a season 2.
I think you're very much correct on that.
Yeah, they're like, this is a show about friends, and that was brutal to watch.
Yeah, that was rough. So, we don't know what the future holds in a lot of different realms, but if Summer House were to get a season 5, which we hope it does, because I think it's on this upward trajectory, who would you want to see back in the share house? And would you want some new blood to replace somebody?
I don't think there's anyone I necessarily wouldn't want to come back. I've definitely felt that way in past seasons. Obviously, there's some people I would love to have back more than others, but I would love just like additional new blood, like in the mix that we have already, like some brand new faces.
Yeah, this is the first time where I think you look at the cast, whether you're a viewer or you're one of us in the house, spending the summer together. The first time I'm like, if it was literally the same people, I'd be cool with it. But I always do love some new faces. I love making new friends. Yeah. And I think I'm glad I had a chance to see, the other side of Jules watching the show, because, I think she's a sweetheart. And, I think that, like Carl said in one of the scenes from last night, I think we just kind of lumped her into the big question mark that is Jordan.
Right.
And, we were all kind of absorbed with our own drama in the first half of the summer. So, yeah.
Yeah. But I also think, not for nothing, I think it also kind of worked to have Jordan pop in and Danielle popped in and out. And I think it did kind of work to have quote unquote visitors more often this summer, because it changed it up every episode.
It spiced it up for sure.
Totally.
It was very enjoyable.
It also it felt a little closer to what it normally is.
Totally.
Filming, it's a little bit more of like it's not just like come and go as you please.
It didn't feel like isolation. It definitely felt like, oh, look, we have friends.
Yeah. Well, Colin and Amanda, it was so great to talk to you guys and catch up. I can't wait to see what happens on the reunion, and continue to stay safe and healthy in New York.
Oh, you too.
You too, man. Thanks for having us.
Guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
For more stories from In the Know, go to intheknow.com. You can also follow In the Know on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and find me, Gibson John, on Instagram and Twitter at Gibsonoma. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.